Hello and welcome back to my channel, Preventing Crimes Together. In this channel, we try to encourage people on some of the basic things they need to put in place in order not to become victims of criminal activities. I am your host, Dr. Solomon Okwendi. In today's topic, we are going to be discussing why you should teach your children safety rules, safety tips for your children. Now, when you teach your children some safety tips or rules at home, it builds their confidence. It empowers them. It helps them to prepare should there be an emergency. Okay? So, number one safety rules that you should teach your children is that you should teach them your names, your phone number, your address. They are very, very important. For example, your children go to school. If somebody asks them, what is your father's name or what is your mother's name? What are their addresses? Your children should be able to tell them. Now, just in case something happens, your children should be able to know the number to call if there is an emergency. For example, in the US, there is 911. Every child knows 911. That 911 is an emergency number to call for help. So your children should know this number. They should know your address, your names, your telephone numbers, you and your spouse, if you have one. They should be able to know these numbers. In developed countries, this is the first thing they teach children when they are in school. So safety rule number one, teach them to know your names, your phone number, your address, if possible, your email address, and the emergency number to call should there be any challenges they are facing. Safety number two rules that you should teach them not to eat anything outside, anything given to them by strangers. They should not eat anything outside. In fact, this is why, for those of us who were brought up in Africa, this is my favorite, because I remember those days I went and ate something outside. A friend, and I was caught. People saw me. People were passing by and they saw me eating corn. At my friend's place, they went and told my parents, my grandmother then. I bet you, I was in the guard room for 2 days. I was locked up for 2 days. I was beaten black and blue for eating corn outside of my friend. This was my friend. It wasn't that he was a distant somebody. So teach them not to eat anything given to them by strangers. This is safety rules number two. Safety rule number three, teach them not to climb fences, not to climb someone's fences or their fences to the other side, to their neighbor's side. For example, children may be playing, they are playing football, they are throwing it, and it flew over the other fence. And then one of the smartest things some of them will do is to jump over the fence. Teach them not to do that. Instead, let them bring it to your attention. You go to the neighbor's house, you tell them, they bring your ball back to you. Teach them never to cross anyone's fences, especially when you are in advanced countries. It can be excused in our country, but in advanced countries, if you are caught scaling someone else's fence, you are likely to be shot. You'll be tagged as a criminal. You are likely to be shot. So teach them not to climb fence. Safety rule number four, do not walk out of the yard alone. For example, children walking out, going out to take a stroll, they are walking out, they should go out with adults. Whenever my children are playing outside, I'm always out there watching them. Whenever they are going out, I go out with them, or my wife goes out with them, watching them. Do not encourage them to go out alone, especially in this period of kidnapping, assault, and the likes. That's safety rules number 4. Safety rules number 5 that you should teach your children is playing or experimenting with fire. Teach them not to play and experiment with fire, or else fire will burn them. There's this song those days, if you play with fire, fire will burn you. Teach them not to experiment and play with fire. That's safety rule number 5. Safety rule number 6 that you should teach them: they should not go out with a stranger. They should not go out with a stranger. Somebody might pose disguise and say, oh, your parents said that you should follow me somewhere. Teach them not to go out with any stranger. Even if they come and they say, oh, your dad or your mom says, go out with me to somewhere, teach them not to do that. They are strangers. They should not go out with a stranger without the consent of you. Safety rules number 7, especially for the females: teach them not to allow someone to touch your kid's body, your children's body. This one is very, very important. This is where sometimes I frown at some of these uncles and family friends. They will come, they will tell your children, especially the female one, come and sit on my lap. You can't trust them. I have to be honest here. Teach your children. This is why in advanced countries too, they teach them, they tell them that anything below from your chest here down is a no-go area. They should not touch. Nobody should touch there. That's why they teach them when they go to school. They ask them, did anybody touch you inappropriately? Did your parents, even you as a parent, if you touch your children inappropriately and they hear about it, especially in advanced countries, again, I'm always referring to the advanced countries. I remember there was a time my daughter, my 9-year-old daughter, went to school. They were questioning her. Did your parents touch you in this area, in this part? Did they touch you in that part? Did they touch you? Do they do that? They were asking a 9-year-old child. And if it happens that we did, if the child reported that we did, we are in trouble. Serious one. That's the next thing you know, the police will come, social workers will come, they will begin investigation. So teach them that, hey, if anybody touches you inappropriately in any part of your body, resist it, report immediately. Touching your body is not allowed by anybody, whether it is your uncle, whether it is your cousins, your niece, your nephews. Touching your body inappropriately, teach them that it is not allowed, especially for our female children. And then finally, safety rule number 8. Do not share address and phone numbers. Teach them not to share address and phone numbers with people they don't know. And so, in conclusion, teaching them, these are some of the safety rules that our children need to know of. They are not exhaustive, but these are just few of them. Teach them this safety rule, safety tips, and you will be glad you did. Until I come your way again next time, I remain your host, Dr. Solomon Okwendi. Bye.